What? What is that? Oh.
Huh?
What is
That ain't gonna
this?
take your picture.
Of what happened in the 3-year period between 1944 when his mother died and 1947 when he showed up at Hershey. What he's having trouble remembering the exact sequence of events.
And also how long.
So
From the time his mother died
until
they went to Hershey.
yeah, that was 3 years there.
3 years.
That's we think, yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
almost 3 years. Yeah, right.
He knows those dates pretty good.
Well, at least two of those youths right here in this
2
house.
years.
Well, that's the thing he couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years? I seem to remember 2 summers here for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 years, I'm sure.
Well, we went to my grandmother's house.
Huh?
Julianne and Nancy and I went to my grandmother's house
On Whited
for
over.
I guess a year or less than a year. On Whited, on down that way, East Brooklyn.
I
We
don't
stayed
remember.
there, and then Julianne went to Levine.
I don't remember you being at your grandmother's house
Yeah, we were there.
before you came
Yeah, it
here.
must be before. But like Julianne went to the Levine.
Oh, yeah, I know it had to be before because you went
To
directly
Hershey.
to Hershey from here.
From here. That was February of '47.
Well, that's what I remember that very well.
Well, I remember him being at his grandmother's house because the following thing. He had that black bicycle.
And yes, it was originally it was orange.
Oh, you painted it black.
I painted
Yeah.
it black. You
Well-
ever hear about that?
The thing that I recall was that no human being could get up that half a block of Whited. Your grandmother's house was like 3/4 or halfway down the steep hill. It
Yeah.
wasn't all the way down on the flat, was it? Or maybe it was down
No,
there.
it was up. It was up a few houses.
Yeah, and the trick was that when I bicycled over there, you know, I had that old little red bike. I can't.
Was your grandmother's house over here in Brookline?
Yeah, and he's
Huh?
behind DeBoer's funeral home down over.
Yeah, I know
The
where it
Stark-
was.
What is it?
That's Whited. I didn't
You had a,
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. It is Whited. Milan was the actual address.
Yeah.
So
Milan.
Whited came down and Milan came up like that.
Maybe,
Three houses.
yeah, maybe
It
I'm
was
confused
unpaved.
because doesn't Bel Air come up by Bel Air?
That way.
Yeah,
This way. And then Whited comes down.
comes
this way.
down the steep hill,
And then
and then Milan goes off.
yeah, also I said that. But Whited was the killer hill.
Well, the thing I can remember was
Yeah.
when you went there, you could get to the place, but when you left there, you couldn't.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well, it's like they're there.
At the bottom of the.
Yeah, that's right. You know,
Right.
it was you could ride the bike to the house, but then on the way back it was all over. You had to get, you know, just walk back up this hill pushing your bike until you got to the place where you could pedal again. And several times, you know, we had a zigzag technique because there weren't that many cars in those days, where you'd zig from one curve to the other and gain about a foot at a time. And I tried that hill endless to see if I could just do it in a limited number of zigs. It was beyond human endurance. So I just got to walking up that hill. Now, we were both safety boys at that time that happened. You were, that is, we were safety post boys. Because we rode those bikes to those safety posts, and I can remember the change when you didn't have to bike from Whited anymore. I have a recollection about that too.
You mean because I moved here?
Yeah, you moved here and that you and I had a dialogue about, thank God I don't have to get up that hill in the morning, you know, in order to get to it. Does that ring any bells?
That idea, certainly, the hill, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
I
should
remember
move a
thinking
little
that
bit
we were trying
closer.
to add up benefits, you know, what are the positives of all this?
So it was probably, I guess, around 1945 when we were
Hey,
in
Penny, stick these two guys in about a foot each.
Great, sounds right.
yeah, so
Because
from 5th to 6th and
Don,
then the
in about a foot.
oh, okay. Oh, block the light
Yeah.
too, right? Yeah.
the second semester, the 7th grade is
Well,
when I went to Hershey from here.
second semester of seventh
Yeah,
grade.
February 57th.
All right. And do you remember any conversation with his grandmother, or who did you talk with? Who was your
he
conversation?
had an aunt there that wasn't very happy.
Blanche.
That's right. See, they
Oh,
got
Blanche.
so much.
I've heard about him.
Wow,
We
you
didn't
know
Blanche.
about
I don't know
her.
that. She wasn't very happy.
And
Huh?
Aunt Blanche was not happy about all this?
Well, it was his aunt, and she lived with the grandmother.
Yeah.
And she wanted him to stay there.
No.
She didn't want him at all.
Oh,
She wanted us to leave.
She wanted him to not stay there. Oh, I
Yes,
see.
that's right.
Oh, I never heard that part till just now.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Well, how did you know? Who did you talk to? Julianne?
Yeah, to get me to come here. Who did you talk to for me to come here? Julianne or my father? Or
No, not your dad. It was your aunt.
oh, she's the one you talked to. Okay.
Yeah, she's a.
Aunt Blanche, yeah.
That's where I got the impression that she talked to you, but she wasn't too happy about you coming there.
She wasn't too happy about anything.
Well, but didn't you, I recollect you told me that, didn't you and Fraser's and Levine's have a little meeting over here too? I mean, to talk over the idea that the three kids would return to this
At the Bridge Club.
at Bridge Club or someplace like that?
We had a meeting. We talked about it.
Well, did this Aunt Blanche show up at that meeting, or did somebody from the Bridge Club know that she was so unhappy and wanted those little
Yes,
brats
and I
out?
think it was Mary Levine.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so Mary said to the Bridge Club, "Hey, we got a big problem over on Milan, and we got to do something about it."
Well, that's about that, right.
And the
But,
girls are cute.
but
and
the
nobody-
women
but-
did that
But Jim's
all.
a problem, George.
That's right.
Yeah, the girls are cute. They can be sold into slavery in Saudi Arabia. Do you think that's what it was? Like that?
Sure, I
Because
remember.
the thing I remember is all three moved at the same time.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, it wasn't done in steps or anything. It was.
No, that was when there was, that's what I can say is Harry and I will take,
Julianne and Jim.
and.
No, Julianne. Harry and Mary.
Oh, Harry and
Julianne.
Harry took Julianne.
And,
Okay.
May,
and
Fraser.
Bob, Bill and,
Bill.
May
May Fraser
May Fraser,
and Bill.
said we'll take Nancy.
huh?
They said we'll take Nancy or something like that.
And I said, you're gonna stick us with that Jim.
You can see it
And
coming,
this
huh? You can see that coming.
This is 1945.
Yeah?
So these guys are all around 45 years old,
That's
sitting
right.
around talking about someone in the neighborhood has 3 kids, and we got to take care of them.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a different kind of.
But I'll
Well,
tell
can you
right
see that
now,
happening nowadays?
the
Yeah,
women
that's what
talked, but there were 3 Masons that talked. And those 3 Masons were Harry, Billy, and me.
Oh, so it was a Masonic thing too, huh? Oh, very interesting.
Well, Pearl Mesta's involved in this somehow. too. No, I'm
Oh,
serious.
really?
And there was something about, I think there was that call. Maybe that was college. Somebody who knew Pearl Mesta was involved. Pearl Mesta. Mesta. And
Pearl,
she was
a big Washington hostess, Pearl.
Yeah,
Mr.
and it wasn't her, but it was some woman, and they said that she knew her or something. But that could have been getting to Penn State. But how I got to Hershey, they talked about Girard College in Philadelphia. Did you ever get in that conversation? Having to do with what you're going to do with me.
What I was gonna do with you.
No, not you, but what the Bridge Club was going to do with me. And Girard College was in Philadelphia was one of them. That was the
Well, that
school
was
for boys.
Gerard College. You couldn't afford to go there. Nobody was coming up with very much money when you was around there. Nobody. I know.
It's like an
Well,
abandoned
nobody.
dog or something.
Once when you came here, you were a part of our family.
That's right. Yeah.
And there was no question whatever of anybody paying us any money
Right.
for having you stay here. Oh no, a little weird. And I haven't got over yet. You're a little weak in the head, and I still.
Oh, I see. You're still showing signs of it,
When
right?
For having done that, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Poor judgment.
Well, the limited conversation I recollect, which I distinctly recollect, was that they sprung it on me. That is, and I thought, oh man, what a great idea.
Yeah.
And then part B, and this means that everything you own gets split.
Say what?
And all of a sudden, it wasn't quite the great idea that it had been, a couple minutes ago. And then I, states' rights or something, I began to say, well, that doesn't include this, and he has his own bike,
I think it was your uncle that took you down to Hershey, wasn't it? But I'll say one thing about you here that nobody else knows.
Oh,
You know, that I don't think they know. But you went out that door, and Mother, Sandra, and me were there. We were saying goodbye to you. And God bless you, you shed tears. You didn't want to
Is that
leave.
right?
Uh-huh.
I believe that.
Yeah, you
Well,
did
that
not
didn't
want to
happen.
leave our home. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I guess. I believe it. I don't know.
Well, you don't think you think somebody else took him down for the first time? I recollect that.
No.
Who could it be?
Huh?
Oh, I thought it was
Huh?
Julianne and
Who
Nancy.
took? Yeah, well, I made trips with Julianne and Nancy.
I didn't take you
But
down.
I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I don't.
can't
I recall going down there after you had been
Oh,
hauled
yeah.
off. You know.
No, it was a relative of yours, and I guess it's your uncle or
Somebody from
your aunt.
Natrona.
How about
That
Rule?
I didn't think you cared very much about.
Rule,
But
honey.
they took you down.
Yeah, I just don't.
I had to find my way. When I went down there, I had to find which one of those cow
Brookside
barns that you worked in.
26A. Yeah, it wasn't easy to find. Yeah, you had to.
Well, I made many trips down there.
Yes.
Many.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
No, that's okay. I
Come
don't. We're gonna feed him right
And
here.
down in the morning, when he was going to bring you here for a weekend, you know, and we had to wait till he milked his cows.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go, Faye. That's a fact.
That's right.
Sure it is.
I have a memory of that too, by the way. That he and I went down one time. You remember this? And drove. It took us forever. We couldn't find the place, and when we finally got there was nowhere to stay.
That's right.
We drove from tourist home to motel to hotel. And there was no place to stay. It was real late at night. The alternative was to drive back into Harrisburg and see if we could find some. We had no clue what to do. And so he said to me, if you can handle this, I can handle this, he said. And we took the back seat out of the car and laid down in a grass field right beside the car, and the two of us slept side by side in the grass. Is that right or not? And then and it was great. I thought it was a big adventure. I get up in the morning and he said, do not tell your mother that. Is that right or not? Yeah?
Well, I don't know what you said about that. I don't know that. I know. You know, we talk back and forth, but I know very well that maybe it was my good wife. You know, doggone it, I guess when I think about it, you know, she might have been the one who brought tears to your eyes, because she cried when you she didn't want you to go.
Oh yeah, she might have been crying first, huh? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and she may have shown her, and I probably said, quit that crying around, let him.
You know, I remember something when I was living here. I used to talk about Aunt Helen,
Yeah.
and he started to talk about Aunt Helen. And one time you said to him, "Who is your Aunt Helen?"
Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah.
Because we were bonding. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But that was a difficult thing because I didn't know what to call them in sequence with.
Certainly, I didn't either. you
Yeah.
know.
We had it.
You
was,
know-
For sure, I didn't.
You know, well, let's see. All these stories all get tied together. I knew Fulton, the congressman. I knew him very, very well. And I got him in the American Legion up here. And then he got I'm saying West Penn, but the government's was a, what did they call that? Where you were?
What? Where he wanted to go?
He
West Point?
went down there because he was appointed there.
Oh, West Point. Yeah.
West Point.
Yeah,
I
West-
was thinking of West Penn, and I didn't mean that. West Point. And he had a. Well, you were down there a week at least, weren't you?
Yeah, I think for a week and a half or something. Yeah, but I had a. You're trying to say they couldn't fit me with glasses.
Whatever it was that you were down.
Yeah.
But we thought you were down there for keeps. And Carol and Dorothy and Helen and I went on an automobile trip to the West Coast. And we were scheduled to leave.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. In connection with me being up at West Point, and he had a job at the ice cream factory.
That's
so
right, that's right. That's right. And
I suddenly came back.
you came back here on the morning that we were leaving for
That's right. Yeah,
California.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Holy smokes, and then
That sounds.
before I called Jones,
Hugh Jones, yeah.
huh?
Yeah, Hugh Jones, yeah.
Hugh Jones, because he was so unhappy about you taking the West Point when he had a scholarship for you at Lafayette.
Yeah.
And there you are coming back, and you had no college to go to, because college, they were filled up by that time. See?
Yeah. But was that same summer then, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was the same
So
summer.
this is, what, 52?
Would it be
This was
52? Does that sound right? Because you were working the summer
The
that.
first year was the ice cream factory.
Yeah, and was that would have been the first year?
You didn't use that 4 years at that ice factory, did you?
No, he said
no,
the
no.
first one only. First year only. But I remember.
Well, that was when college was over,
Yeah.
when you were working there.
Yeah. Well.
No, high school was over. I was going to.
Well, it was
It
in
was
summer.
summer,
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Well,
I
the thing I can recall was a big debate about that. That is, the idea was, can these two people survive? Can these two otherwise harmless 18-year-old people survive alone in a house for 2 weeks while you people are in the West Coast? And so there was a hastily written list of instructions as to what it was we were supposed to do. Has this story been on the record before? The thing I remember is, you had to water the plants once a week and feed the fish every day, it said on the thing. And I...
Oh, both of them, the plants died and the fish. Really? Did
I
the
don't
fish
know whether the
die?
fish died or not, but the fish were awful hungry by the time people got back. And there
We
were
got
some
home
mighty
from
sick-looking plants.
California
Huh?
on a Saturday,
Potatoes
and
rotted.
I had to go to
yeah,
work.
in the bin
on
under
Monday.
the sink.
Oh.
And
We drove up the street here and past my house, and there was 2 screwballs that were living here. And they had a sign on that porch.
I think Lynn had a hand in this. Go
I
ahead.
don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't remember this.
They had
I
a
do.
sign on the porch. Welcome home, Dad. The bank examiners are gone.
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, welcome.
What's
Welcome.
gone? The
The
bank.
bank
Bank
examiners.
Oh.
That's right.
I remember when you came back from the West Point thing, and you were disqualified because of your eye. You made, I guess you made the sign that said, "If thy right eye
Offend thee,
point it
yeah,
out."
point
You
it
had
out. That's right. Yeah, I
There's 2
did.
signs that are.
Yeah, that sign. I put that
Given
sign.
the neighborhood the impression that I had to get away because the bank examiners were signing the bank, and they just found me in the goose job. And they didn't find nothing wrong.
Well, we'll let you eat your lunch.